podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Welcome to Scarlets Fever, the home of Suspan Central and Westerer is Besterer.
Hello and welcome to the Scarlets Fever podcast, the first of 2024 with me, Lee G. You can tell Martyn's got a stable signal for Christmas because he's been a good boy and Santa's delivered him a stable signal.
Me, please.
So I was about to say with me, Lee G and Martyn and Hugh, but everyone's heard Martyn say hello. Evening, Hugh. How are you?
Evening. I'm very well, thank you. I'm excited to be back. Finally, going from doing 3 podcasts a week to 0 for 2 weeks is a hard hitting experience.
Were you having like cold turkey and stuff?
Yeah, I was like, I've got so many magic numbers to tell people, but I just can't.
Nobody's listening to me without a podcast. You're just standing on street corners shouting, I've got something to say. Somebody listen. So
he was a town crier in a past life. We all know it.
Must have been, mate. Must have been. So Martyn, were you a good boy for Christmas? Did Santa bring you lots of gifts and presents that are relevant?
No, he brought me absolutely nothing. Spoiled my kids rotten, but brought me nothing. Bastard.
That's not fair.
I know it's terrible. You know, if I ratioed what the kids had to me, you know, they must have had every 20 things for every one I had. You know, it breaks my heart, man.
What about Mrs. Santa? What did Mrs. Santa get you?
What did Mrs. Santa? She got me socks. I was well happy with that.
I was going to say you must have had socks, jocks, and chocks. That's got to be the dad's triple, isn't it? Yeah, all in the same one. Hugh, what did Santa bring you, mate?
I got a couple of things. I got my new webcam, which has got an inbuilt light, which I'm still trying to figure out. So the lighting might be a bit off for a few episodes before I figure this all out. And what else did I get? I got some Lego. Whenever people don't know what to get me, I'm always just like, just get me Lego. So Lego and alcohol tends to be
get him something to build with.
Yeah. I got a really grown up one. Normally I'm just like, oh, get me one of those Lego Star Wars kits for like £7, where it's like a figurine and a spaceship. I got like a Bugatti like this big off my girlfriend's sister this year, and it took me like 6 hours to build it.
You need the Millennium Falcon.
We're in. Oh God, he's got the Millennium Falcon. Right. Okay. If we're doing
a proper one, come on. That's a baby one. That's the decade Falcon.
I got an X-Fighter as well, an X-Wing.
Really? You look really proud of yourself, mate. Well done.
All the other opposition fans who are tuning in to hope to hear us losing our minds about our rugby team are all going to be sorely disappointed. Oh, it's a Thanos Club.
What's this?
This is
it's the Iron Man version, I think.
Yep.
Ah.
So that's what my boy is the same. We don't know what to get you for Christmas, so he has like Lego. So he's got the Eiffel Tower, Iron Man mask, loads of crap behind me. You can see like that's like 6 foot tall with this bloody all sorts of stuff. There's ships.
On top of the shelf over there, I got a Lego Ferrari, Aston, Porsche, Mercedes, and Lotus.
You realise you need to take photographs with you holding these now to prove it for everyone to see.
Why would I lie about this?
It's because it's the same as that you lie that your cat's actually alive and moves. I've never seen you. You're just sitting there with like a little fishing rod and wag his tail. Let move his tail, move his tail.
All right, okay. You'll have photographic evidence of my Lego cars. I've got an F1 car downstairs. I've got a space shuttle, which I bought for myself. I just threw it on a shelf.
Anyway,
what shuttle is it?
Which shuttle? What the fuck?
It's a space shuttle. Are there different ones?
It's
there's
4. There was 4 of them.
You know which one it is.
But they're all the same, weren't they?
They all look the same, but there's 4 of them. Well, there was 4 of them, and then one blew up.
Different rating on the side.
All right, it's not a particular one.
Anyway,
Generic.
my gift of the kids this year was, so I've just done the rap podcast, and to go with my, so you can see it's all backwards there, but that's a
Dad's Coaster rap
yeah.
podcast. Very good.
Yeah. And to go on that was a really, really nice glass with Dad's rap podcast written on it as well. But it had the Scarlets logo.
But he doesn't care about us how. That's what he's
Very
trying to
nice.
say.
I do.
So
It
they,
had the
so they must
Scarlets
have
logo.
they must have had that specially made then, because the Scarlets don't sell it.
No, exactly. And the amount of stuff that, when people go, what do you want for Christmas? And then they go, can I get you something Scarlets? And then you go, well, what?
I'd like you to,
You
but
can't.
if
Yeah,
There's nothing there.
exactly. But we have a solution for that coming at some point when I pull my fingers out. Anyway,
It's been
yes,
coming for the last
Martyn,
18 months. By the way.
I know. I've been saying it for God knows how long. I would have bought this in the Scarlet shop, but is on its way. Right, okay. Let's do some rugby stuff. Have we got any Scarlets news from this week, Martyn?
Okay, nothing main senior Scarlets, but we do have a lot of academy news, specifically the RAG. The RAG 18s competition has started back up. The girls 18s were in action, or women's 18s, I should say, were in action yesterday. They were down at Ystrad Mynach and they played RGC Pews, new name this year for them. They went down 36-22, so strong effort, but by all who saw. But again, losing effort, so obviously not the great. They're back in action this Sunday up north in Colwyn Bay, Stadium CSM, I believe, and they're against the Dragons. That's a 1 p.m. kickoff. So if you fancy travelling all the way up to Colwyn, it's for 1 o'clock on a Sunday. Make sure you leave early. The boys 18s. Their first fixture is Wednesday the 17th down at camp against Cardiff. Their squad is due imminently. Look, it's the 8th today. When I was speaking to Scott Sned, and he said the 8th, 9th is the target to announce that squad. So I'm expecting it any day. And same with the 16s East and West. Their squads and fixtures are, to be confirmed and announced imminently. They got the dates for the fixtures. They just haven't got who they're playing. Well, they haven't announced who they're playing and where yet.
Can I ask a quick one? Why are the girls playing the Dragons in Colwyn Bay?
Okay, it's the way they're doing it. They done it last year as well. Everyone goes to one ground each week, and it goes around each area. So 3 matches every Sunday. So if you go to watch the girls, just watch one game. You're watching all 3 every time if you want.
Right. Okay. There we go. That so there'll be a bigger crowd. There'll be more people watching. There'll be a bit more of a, yeah. Okay. Good. I get that. Okay. Sorry. Go on. Carry on. What else have we got?
That's literally it we've got from the Scarlets. It's been a pretty quiet week. No games. No games for a few weeks really, if you ask me. But yeah, that I can see who I'm a little dig already. We know what's coming. But yeah, that's literally it from the Scarlets this week.
Okay. So, right, me and Hugh are going to sit back for half an hour now. So you take us through the community game, because you're going to do the community game review, Matt. So this may take. You're only going to do last week, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not
just
going to do
last
multiple
week.
weeks, is it? Jesus Christ.
It could be forever.
Well, I think when it's a youth week now, we're into quarter-final land. So, there's a lot more fixtures that come in. I'm going through all of them, not just our boys.
But what I will say is anyone that's interested in the community game, then they need to follow you on Twitter, because you do a load more stuff on Twitter. And they've got more stuff with that coming as well. See, it's a very exciting time. As soon as I finish my degree, I'll be on shit like God, like you won't know what. Anyway, Matt, you go do your community game, mate. Hugh, try to stay awake, fella.
Yeah, let's community. As always, we start in the Premiership, and we'll start with champions and league leading drovers. They were at home to Pontypridd. They boasted a host of Scarlets Academy players in their squad. They had Ed Scragg, Gabriel McDonald, Max Page, Kian Abraham, Tommy Lewis, and they also had Hardy Thomas and Luca Giannini. First time I've seen Luca Giannini back in the squad for a while, so great to see him back playing. They won 12-11. So another win for the Drovers. But they're still winning. But the performances over the last few weeks, they're not winning in the same sort of manner that they have been. So, they're still in a slump and they're still winning. So,
It was funny, wasn't it? Because it got to 12-11 by like an hour in, and then there was no scores for the last 20, something like that.
Yeah, it was just an odd game all round. And I do consider this a slump for Llandovery, especially compared to earlier results in the season.
Not winning by enough.
Exactly. This is the Drovers we're talking about. These are the standard bearers. So the try scorers were Lucid, Jamie Hughes, and Hooker Taylor Davis. We all know about Taylor Davis, and one conversion by fly half Jack Maynard. And the game I'm so happy to talk about is Bridgend 11, Carmarthen Quins 16.
Hooray!
It's taken since round 2, week bloody 2 of the Premiership for them to pick up a second win. They had a couple of Scarlets as well. Sam O'Connor and Charlie Titcombe started. More on Titcombe in a minute. They also had Lewis Morgan, Alfie Evanfetri, Iestyn Wood, and Lucas Sataro on the bench. And quite frankly, Carmarthen Quins didn't win this game. Charlie Titcombe won this game. It was Bridgend 11, Charlie Titcombe 16. He scored them all. Try, conversion, 3 pens. I was desperately looking to see if he got a drop goal because that would have been perfect. But we can see from this result alone why the Scarlets have brought him in from Loughborough. I think he's 22 now.
Is that his first game for Quins? Was that the first time he's turned out for them?
I don't think it's his first game. I think he played earlier in the season. I'd have to double check.
Probably in the Neath game.
23. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at that.
So I'm going to name drop here. Dave Rogers Clang, the commentator. I would exchanged a couple of DMs with him, and he said he didn't understand why the Scarlets weren't playing Titcombe more. He said if we played him, we'd be better. And we've only seen a glimpse of him against Leinster, and then he's clearly shown that he is. Well, it's a very small sample size, but if he continues like that, he might be too good for Welsh Premiership level. So it starts begging the question: what does he need to do to be getting game time for the Scarlets?
Yeah, he seems to be a proper 10 whenever we've seen him. He's an all-rounder. He can kick, he can pass, he can run. He's a stocky boy as well when you look at him. So he is pretty physical as well.
Okay, well we'll talk about the future in a bit more depth later. Just out of interest, where was that Bridgend game played? Was it at the
Brewery?
It was on the back of a lorry. No, sorry.
Yeah. Oh,
in the lorry.
You'll annoy some supporters now that are listening.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, they won't like the banter on that one.
The thing is, I'd imagine a lot of Bridgend people do support the Scarlets now. I mean, they were obviously glory hunters with Celtic Warriors, and when they went down, where did they have to go?
So what was the pitch like against Carmarthen then? What was it?
They made a big deal on Twitter of posting pictures of it looking nice.
Was it?
Well, nicer than it looked for the URC.
But then that's what I mean. It was after a couple of days of real heavy rain. I just wondering how the pitch, the Ospreys game was again after a couple of days of really heavy rain. So I was just interested to see, did the pitch recover, and was it playable a week later?
It looked like it was to me, just from the photos the Bridgend themselves put out. So
yeah, okay, cool. Fixtures this week then, Mark, for Premiership.
Fixtures, Carmarthen Quins are at home to Pontypool on Thursday night, so I believe that's the S4C game, so all tune in if you can. Llandovery were meant to be travelling to play Cardiff, but that game has been rearranged for sometime in February, and they've cited the Cardiff Harlequins Champions Cup game as the reason why. But that game is an 8 o'clock kickoff, so I'm kind of confused as to why they've postponed a 2:30 game when the match they're doing it for is until 8 o'clock at night. I mean, that pitch is more than capable of taking on 2-3 matches in any one hit.
Well, it's made of plastic, so you'd hope so.
I mean, I kind of get it from setting up the stadium and all of that kind of malarkey. Because if it's an 8 o'clock kickoff, you'd want it to be ready. You'd want to open the gates at 5. Well, yeah, you'd want to be ready at 5. So, but surely they must be
Push a game
able to.
earlier.
Yeah, there'd be a solution to it. Or somebody needs to look at the scheduling a little bit earlier and go, oh, maybe we could play this game on the Thursday, or we could play this game on a Sunday, or, Anyway, there we go. Crack on with the
We go into
championship,
championship. Yeah, into the Championship West. We had Ammanford 32-17 winners over Estalivera. Now, that was a really tight game. It went in 17 all at half time, I should say. And, Ammanford came out with a shutout in the second half. So, well done, Ammanford, picking up another win. Brilliant for them. Crymych were at home to Bonamine, and they lost 13-22. And Crymych were actually had a Scarlets Academy tight end prop in Will Couch in their ranks. So I'm still waiting to hear how we got off, but always good to hear when our boys are playing, even if it's championship. Narberth away to Dunvand, I guess. I think you can all know which way this one went. Dunvand 18, Narberth 48. I mean, they're just rolling. I mean, it's just Brecon is the only team they haven't, beaten this season. That's because they haven't played them, and I'm still waiting for that game. I'm bouncing for it, actually.
That was the game that Narberth Brecon game was the one where they rearranged the original one because somebody was getting married, wasn't it? Wasn't that the first one? They should have played them by now.
There was one Trimsaran game and one Newcastle Emlyn game.
So why haven't they played Brecon yet? Then?
I think it was rained off the first game.
What? No, must have been up at Brecon because the Narberth game would be beat. Yeah. Anyway.
It doesn't rain in Narberth, does it not?
It does. It's just they've got absolutely top-notch drainage. And
Isn't it tarpaulin over the field for when it happens?
No, it is. It's got genuinely. They've spent a lot of money on the drainage because the top pitch at Narberth used to be an absolute nightmare, and they've invested a lot of cash in the drainage at Narberth. That's really good now, like really, really good. So, yeah. Anyway, I digress. Carry on. Sorry.
The last result from Championship West, we had Newcastle Emlyn, who had a Scarlets Academy by themselves, and Harry Fuller. They won 33-18 away to Tartar Steel. This week, we got Llangennech at home to Tartar Steel. Tartar could not have picked a worse time to go to Llangennech. I mean, they have really been on it. 69 points against Maesteg, beating Brecon in Brecon, 77 points against Crymych. I mean, oh my God, I do not want to know what the scoreline is going to be. It's going to be hard. We got a nice Pembrokeshire clash with Narberth against Crymych, Newcastle Emlyn host Dunvand, and Ammanford are away to Trebanos. We go down into One West, and Whitland almost had another win, but they did pick up a bonus point. Buryport won 27-25 against Whitland. Vellinvall picked up a win off the bottom of the table. Well, not off 11, so close enough. So 21-20 against One Eyelid. Gowerton romped Hendy 61-25. Llanelli Wanderers 48-0 over Aberystwyth. Tough one to take, that is. And Kidwelly won 33 points to 15.
I saw some photos.
Yeah. It is Stradi. It's the same area. It's not the same pitch.
Okay.
Like literally, the cricket field is there. Everything's all around, but it's not the same pitch.
That's still a hell of a hell of a loss for Aberystwyth to lose 48-0.
They haven't turned up this season. I don't know what's happened. They haven't played a lot of games, to be fair. They weren't big chunks of playing at all. And obviously the travelling is never helping them. Yeah. So who really knows what's going on? I mean, they're doing better than Whitland. That's all we can say.
It's not difficult.
So, and the last game is Kidwelly winning 33-15 away to Pontarddulais. This week, we got games Aberystwyth at home to Pencloud, Hendy against Vellinvall, Kidwelly against Buryport. First time these sides are meeting this season. Nice little clash, that is. Both coming up together. Llanelli Wanderers are away to One Eyelid, and Whitland are at home to Gowerton. One West Central and our only team, the Greens, Bryn Aman, lost 31-46 at home to Tondy. Tondy are top, so that's not exactly a bad result. This week, Bryn Aman are away to Gleneath. Go into Division 2 West now. Carmarthen Athletic 19, Pontyberem 19. The second time these sides are drawn this year. 22 all in the first fixture. I've contacted both teams, and Carmarthen win 4-3 on the try count over both games. So just a small applause for Carmarthen for slightly winning that one on the try Next, we had Sinclair's winning 34-8 away to Fishguard. Lampeter beating Mumbles 21-10 at home. Big result here, Milford 32, Lucha 28. You know, Lucha were a team to be reckoned with at the start of the season, and Milford are picking off some good scalps this year. So they get a bit of consistency. There's no reason why they can't really compete at the top.
Plus, no one likes Lucha. No one likes Lucha. No one likes Lucha. We all hate Lucha. So
I like the bridge, and that's about it.
And
that's because I can get away from it.
Yeah. Go on, carry on.
Yeah. Nancaredig 33, Army United 15, and to Christ 13, Tenby 23. Tenby still recovering from their shock loss a few weeks ago, but you know they're back on the train. They're still going to be hunting down this title. Next week we got Army United at home to Milford. To Christ travel to Lucha, Fishguard travel to Mumbles, Pontyberem at home to Nancaredig, Sinclair's at home to Carmarthen Athletic, and Tenby at home to Lampeter. An off week for 3 West days, so only some rearranged fixtures to talk about. Haverfordwest 50, Llanyborough 0, and St David's 10, Aberaeron 35.
Is Rob Evans still playing for Haverfordwest?
No, he's gone to America, hasn't he?
Well, I don't know if that's official yet, but I think everybody knows that he's gone to Miami.
Yeah. Well, no, you know, St David's been doing pretty well this season. I'm quite disappointed with that result. You know, no, we love St David's, we love Langham in 3 West Day, but there we go. Got to take a loss every now and then. They will know. Aberaeron against Neyland this week. Cardigan at home to Llanyborough. St David's travel to Larne. Langham at home to Pembroke, and Pembroke Dock Quins at home to Haverfordwest. Into 3 West B now, and Betos at home to Binya. Oh, not Betos at home to Binya. Betos won 73-0 at home to Binya. So, you know, top, bottom, it's going to be a big clash, but that's a heavy tanking. Cefneithin 19, Llandilo 35. Trimsaran won 37-11 away to Furness. Llandibby won 15-7 away to Tregaron. And Tumble won 28-18 against Hughes' team. The first time New Dock Stars have lost since Hughes started supporting them.
What was the score?
I'm really sorry, buddy. 28-18.
28. No heart, no passion, no desire. Sack the coach. I expect the CEO to resign first thing tomorrow morning. And yeah, just
to be fair, they are travelling up from, you know, Seaside and actually up to Gwendryke, so it's a hard challenge.
I'm calling for a fan boycott. We're not accepting this level of performance from New Dock.
Okay, this weekend now we got Binya at home to Tregaron, Llandilo at home to Furness, Llandibby at home to Cefneithin, Llangadog travel to New Dock Stars, and Tumble travel to Trimsaran. There is a game in Division 3 Cup that's supposedly playing, which is Larne travelling to Abertoisig, but that would put their league game against St David's off. So still need clarification on which game is actually going ahead. I believe it's the Cup game, but don't quote me on that one. Last one now, we got Division 5 West Central. Banwen winning 52-8 at home to Pennybank. Fall Bay winning 35 against Pandavannan. And Penlan winning 24-0 against Pont Yates. So a clean sweep for our boys in the league this week. Next week, well, this Saturday, all at home. Pandavannan at home to Congrach. Pennybank at home to Fall Bay. And Pont Yates at home to Taibach. So, it's a lot of rugby to get through, as always. And after this Saturday, which is the 13th, I believe, next week, the 20th, Cup Rugby. It's getting back on. Come on, knockout rugby. Bloody love it.
Are you done now?
I can see his face. It's brilliant. I can't tell if he's paused or not.
Sorry, I had to nip out there for a minute. But are you done? You finished? Is it all?
I'm just about done. I mean, I can go some more. I can look for some more results if you want. I can go into Australia. I've started touching on their stuff now. I'm not quite poisoned yet.
I've had my rant about New Dock Stars' disgraceful defeat.
Yeah, he's boycotting next game.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do before we start talking about Scarlets and all of that kind of malarkey. Why don't we have a little chat about the women's game
yes.
We'll mix it up a bit. I know I said I was going to do it later, but so why don't we throw the women's game in there as well? So the women's league, has it got an official title?
It's
now?
called the Celtic Challenge.
Celtic Challenge. That's the official title now.
It's not the women's URC. It's different.
But
similar, but
yeah,
different.
because it's not got South African teams in, is it?
Or Italian.
I thought Italians. I know that they were trying to. No, okay. So
I know you want to talk about the Welsh teams in this, Gwalia Lightning and Britton Thunder, but I've got to say the first game of the week, Edinburgh against Wolfhounds, bloody hell, what a game that was. It would put a lot of men's games to shame. Edinburgh lost 17-27, and I would back Edinburgh to beat the Scarlets at the minute. That's how complete the performances were from both teams.
Cool. Okay. Well, that kind of takes the next bit away, which was, Hugh, tell us about the game.
Okay, so for anybody who's not up to speed on what this is, so it's a bit like the URC. So it's 2 Welsh teams, 2 Scottish teams, 2 Irish teams having it's a women's tournament, and it's a normal league format, and then there's playoffs and things. The playoff structure makes no sense, so I'm not even going to try and explain it. But essentially, no, you can't. No, if you did,
I can actually.
No, all right. Well, let's not. So the Welsh teams are Britton Thunder, not Brython Thunder, Britton Thunder. I'm reassured, and Gwalia Lightning. Now, this isn't official, but if you read between the lines, Gwalia Lightning are an amalgamation of Cardiff and Newport, as you can tell because their kit is blue and yellow. And I'm afraid to say that Britton Thunder is an amalgamation of the Scarlets and the Ospreys, because their kit / our kit, because they're our team.
Can I oppose this?
Go on.
I really want to oppose this because I don't like it. One team is based out of Park of Scarlets, yes. One team is based out of Cardiff Arms Park, but the player pool was all together, and we got players that were with Scarlets 18s last year playing for Gwalia. Like Maisie Davis was on the bench. She's Straddy Saucepans. I've watched her play for a few years, but my girls have been in the under 6s and 7s and that. So, this not exactly Osprey Scarlet versus Dragons Cardiff.
It's a combination of the kits. One plays at the park and one plays at Cap. But also, Thunder also are going to be playing games up in Conway, because that's like the regional side of things. Yeah. Anyway, so Thunder and Lightning played each other in the first game, which was played before the Dragon Scarlets game at Rodney Parade, and Lightning won that game. I think it was 25-5 was the score.
No, 25.
25-5, yeah.
No, 20-5.
Oh, 20-5. Oh, sorry. So the star player for me from that game from Britton was scrum half Meg Davis. I thought she was absolutely excellent. She didn't come out again in the second half, and then she was on the bench for the second game. So I'm not sure what that was, whether she picked up a knock or they're just rotating. So this is obviously brand new teams, brand new setup and things. And the whole point of this tournament is it's a development tournament. So it's all about bridging the gap between the existing women's tournaments and the internationals. So when we go to the Six Nations, obviously we've got Welsh players playing in the Premier. Well, it's not called the Premier 15s anymore. The Women's Premiership in England, and for the extra players who aren't playing at that level, I think even some Premiership players have come and are playing in this if they're not getting any game time in England. They're coming and playing for these teams. So it's fantastic. So, like I said, Britain lost the derby over in Newport, and then they travelled to Ireland to play Clovers, which is a mix of Connacht and Munster, which is why they've got the red and green kit. And they lost that game. I think that was 20 points to 5 as well, 25-5.
Same scoreline, yeah.
Yeah. So
Britain love 20-5 losses.
Yeah. So in terms of the performances, it was kind of like in the first game, things were fixed, but then other things went wrong in the second game. So in the first game, the handling from Thunder was quite poor. There's a few drop passes. Second game it wasn't so bad, but then like the defense was quite poor at times over in Ireland. But like I said, it's a brand new team, second ever game, and it's a lot of these players will be their first experience traveling to another country to play a game of rugby. So we're giving it grace. The side is coached by Ashley Beck, former Worcester Warriors player, former Welsh international. Gwalior Lightning, on the other hand, played against Glasgow at home and absolutely tonked them. So Gwalior look like a proper decent side. They've got everything. They've got physical forwards. They've got great kicking. They've got really clinical backs. They're coached by some former Welsh internationals. Their name slipped my mind. I don't know, Mart, if you can remember.
It's a long name. I've got it listed somewhere.
Yeah,
I haven't got it to. I've got
so,
all the Britons. I haven't got Gwalior.
So Gwalior look like a very, very competent side, and I'm excited to see more of them. Brython, obviously, the team that we're backing, they're playing their next home game at Parky Scarlets next week against Edinburgh, I believe. So
let me double check that for you.
Looking forward to that.
Keep talking.
Adults tickets are 10 quid. I think kids and concessions get in for 5 quid. It's not covered on Scarlet season ticket. Neither are Gwalior games covered on Cardiff season ticket. So that might be something that I'd like to see changed in the future, because you would think that for the crowds, and maybe they're expecting him for charging 10 quid a ticket, they're not going to be making any money on stage in these games potentially. So I would say just next time, chuck it on the season ticket, get as many people in the stadium as possible, create a bit of an atmosphere, take a bit of money at the bar, and make it a nice day out. So, but yeah, if anybody's looking for a reason to get,
considering how much money World Rugby are putting into this, they've backed basically the entire tournament.
Yes, exactly. It is primarily World Rugby funded, but yeah, if anyone's looking for a reason to get down the park and cheer on a team, definitely back Thunder. And yeah, it's the start of a new journey. Hopefully, this team is going to be either long in existence or it's going to evolve into something bigger and better. And either way, we're here for it.
And what were you saying earlier before we started about the kit? Because it is a relevant point, and it is a first season, and also it's not about criticism.
Yeah.
It's about what do we learn and how do we move forward. So what were you saying about the kit, Mark?
Yeah, well, it was, let me get it back up, right? It was Clovers, who, like you said, play in red and green quarters, and Brython, who play in 90% red with a little black slip across the front of the shoulders. Now, watching the game, and the socks, but close contact, I mean, the colours merge anyway, and I'm not colourblind. So, and I've been confirmed not colorblind, but I struggle to determine who was who during these tight moments, like in the maul, in a not a scrum, but in the ruck. It's quite hard to tell who is who. So for a colorblind person, who red and green blur anyway, so Clovers would have looked like one kit to them, and then Brython, who were red, were in one kit. That would blur as well. So they'd be looking at 30 players essentially wearing the same kit. So that's got to be a hard watch for anyone who was colorblind, and it would obviously turn them off the game. Obviously, not a criticism. This is a fact of we like this game, we like this idea, we wanted to move forward, and the best way to do it is to listen to fans, make it as good as possible, and colorblind clashes are a massive one. I don't know how many colorblind rugby fans there are, but there's enough that would consider watching a game if they didn't have a bloody kit clash like that.
Yeah, they should do what the men's teams do and have both teams play in light grey instead. But yeah, no, I agree with everything that Martyn said there. If anybody's wondering how we watched it, so it's not on BBC, it's not on S4C, it's not on anything like that. You need to sign up for Rugby Pass TV. It's completely free. It's not perfect, so things like the clock doesn't always work, so you've got no idea how long of the game is left. They need to fix that.
And it resets at halftime.
Yeah, so if you're listening Rugby Pass TV, fix that because it's confusing. And the scoreboard doesn't always update either. That's also confusing.
No, it takes a while, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They've taken the conversion, restarted, and still nothing.
But if you know any of these players or you want to support them and show their backing as they're part of the family, you can download the app on your phone. It is free. All you need to do is put your email address in, and then you get all of the Celtic Challenge games And then Rugby Pass TV has got all of the World Cup games, full replays on there, Men's World Cup, and loads of other obscure games as well. So I watched Brazil versus USA on there a few weeks ago. So you can get it's worth having, because there are some games that are going to be well worth watching that you can only get on there, and the chances are it's only going to get bigger. So yeah, give it a look.
Cool.
Yeah, and we can also add that the Scottish teams are covered by BBC Scotland. So, if Britain, like we are this week, play in Edinburgh, and when we come up against, Gwalia came up against Glasgow last week, when we play the Scottish sides, you can go on iPlayer and you can find these games, but it's the exact same problems. They use the Rugby Pass link. So that is our option there for playing the Scottish team, or you want to watch the Scottish teams, but if you want, go for it. The more we watch, the better.
Cool. Okay. Let's before we move into Ospreys and Dragons games, then let's have a couple of Hugh's magic numbers from the last couple of weeks. So you've been building this up, haven't you, Hugh? It's been like.
So I got some fun ones. First one is that Rap Beauty channel is now up over 100 subscribers. So thank you for everyone who is subscribed and is watching us on there. Scarlets Fever, most watched podcast on YouTube.
By a long way. And
my instant match reactions on there are now regularly getting 200-ish views each.
When we lose.
But I think I'm only going to post them on YouTube from now on, because it's not worth posting them on Twitter anymore. So yeah, if you want to see a slightly tipsy, sad man, you're going to have to go to YouTube to watch me. Anyway, so that's the first one. So, yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm not going through YouTube looking for that. Send me a link when you do it.
If you subscribe to Rap, it will come up anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So, in an attempt to do a bit of prep for the Claremont game, I figured I'd hop on the Top 14 Stats website and have a bit of a look at them. Now, the Top 14 Stats website is brilliant. It's got lots of detail on there. It's got lots of really niche stats on there as well. And if you put your email address in, it unlocks even more stats. Slight drawback, it's in French. But fortunately, Safari's got, and Google Chrome as well, has got a feature where it can translate it into English for you, literally. So it's not necessarily as straightforward as you might think. So there are some on here which, how many points you've scored and things. It's pretty straightforward. But some of the other translations are a little bit literal. So let's see if you can get these ones. So, better occupation of the land.
Oh, territory.
Yeah, building territory.
Territory, yeah. I believe that one is average territory per game. La Rochelle at the top of that one. Number of yellow boxes.
Yellow cards.
Yellow cards, yeah. We're now into offensive statistics. Marked tests.
Is that number of marks called in the 22?
Nope. That would be a niche stat.
Yeah.
No, I believe that's tries scored.
Right, okay.
Wow.
One that I don't know what it is. Crossings.
Well, surely that's a try.
No.
That's try.
No. I don't know what crossings is.
No idea then.
Broken plates.
Broken plates.
Broken plates.
Line breaks.
It's how many times somebody's tried to run at Sione Calmafoni.
I believe
That's
I believe it's broken tackles.
Oh.
Or tackles evaded, maybe, I think. Now we're into defensive statistics. Right. Scratching balloons.
What?
Turnovers.
Turnovers. How did you get that? I had to message someone to learn that is. How did you know what
Scratching
that is?
balloons. Scratching balloons.
Scratching balloon. That's got to be used more often in our game and
We
in
should
the
use it
URC.
from now on, the scratching balloon master.
Scratching balloon.
Now into player stats. Best director.
Oh, well, captain or outside half or hooker?
No.
Best director.
Coach?
No.
Don't know there.
Kicks in play.
Points scored. Most points scored.
See, French are just weird. They take a perfectly decent language that they've got and then they just mess it all up.
Best test marker.
Oh, what did we say marker was
Top
earlier?
try scorer.
Top try scorer, yes. I don't know what this one is.
Again,
Best transfer rate.
best
I can tell you that Melvin Jaminet is top with 120%.
Is it like transition line breaks?
I've got no idea. I don't know how he's managed to get 120% either.
Also, 120% of anything.
Melvin Jaminet is down as
percentage.
Mr. Jaminet on the app, but none of the other players are down as Mr. It's only Jaminet who's down as Mr.
Is he French royalty?
I don't know. He must be. Number of boxes.
Cards, yeah. We had
Number
that.
of cards.
Yeah.
Crossings again. I don't know what that is. Broken plates is how many
Broken
tackles you've
tackles,
broken.
you said, yeah.
Best scraper.
Oh, the scraper you just said, yeah. Jackal. Yeah.
Turnovers
Yes.
again?
Turnovers again. And I think that's all of them. I can tell you that Clermont have scratched the most balloons, third most balloons in the top 14 so far this season.
Well, I'm glad Josh McLeod is back again.
Yeah. How's your balloon scratching going? Right.
Anyway, so that's my magic numbers. French, innit?
These magic
It's
numbers.
more like magic words than magic numbers.
I can't get over the balloon scratching. Who would scratch a balloon? Surely if you scratched a balloon off it.
How couldn't you get that straight away? I mean, you scratch a balloon. Just think about the action.
No,
It's not logical, mate. We're just not all geniuses like you.
Yeah, if that comes to your head straight away, Mark, you need to seek help. Because Jesus, man, how
More than just that.
Right, okay, let's have a chat about the festive derbies. And so what I'm gonna say before we start, right, is there's a whole load of negativity, particularly on social media around Scarlets and stuff at the minute. But when you actually look at the people who are driving the negativity, a lot of the people that are driving the negativity are not Scarlet supporters. Yeah, they're people trying to stoke an argument. And yet there are Scarlet supporters making criticisms, and we've been some of them. But
yeah,
there's a difference between making a constructive criticism and just slagging somebody off to make your side look better, because actually you can't actually string a sentence together about your own side without slagging somebody else off. So we're just going to go with what Scarlets are doing. So we're going to focus.
We referred to the team from December as the Boxing Day team, and the team from January as the New Year's Day team.
Well, we can do, but it's about focusing on the Scarlets. So Boxing Day game then. What did you make of the Boxing Day game? So Mart, you go first on this one. What did you make of that game?
Frustrating more than anything. You know, that first half, we had it all. I mean, we should have walked in 18-20 up. Just simple as we totally dominated that first half, and there's not much more I want to say about it, because it's hard, especially where we sit in right now, where we've been coming back week after week after all. Like even last season, it was quite difficult, but you know, we saw some signs of promise, and by this stage, we had actually won a couple of games. But no, it's really hard to criticize where we're going wrong, because you don't want to do it week on week. It was the forwards that lost us in the end against the Boxing Day budgies. So you know, that's where it ended up in the second half. You know, we should have put it to bed early on, and we still could have won it. You know, running it out from our own bloody 22 at the end of the game, always risky. So obviously skewed the scoreline, but you know, those last few phases, you know, the last few runs we had, we actually looked like a decent team that could play. So there are signs that we are a capable team. It's just getting it for more than 5-10 minutes in a game.
Hugh, what did you make of Boxing Day?
Yeah, very poor quality game. As Mark said, we had the best of the first half, and then we didn't score until Gareth Davis got the intercept in the second half, Gareth Davis, I don't know where we'd be without him this season. He's been probably on balance our best player since he's come back in. He's carried us at times. Yeah, it's always a bit concerning when the first score of the match is kind of like a bit of an accident, because it was a very weird intercept ball up in the air juggling thing.
And in the second half.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, I found the end of the game very odd. The way that we were taking the kick at the goal with only a minute left, so the plan was that we were going to have to run it from our own half, and the opposition game plan is all about defense and not having the ball, and defensive pressure is how they score the majority of their tries, and lo and behold, that's how they got the last one. It's something I've noticed a little bit, is that there does appear to be a lot of debates on the pitch at the moment when it comes to decision making, or agreeing what to do, whether to go for touch or go for the post or scrum or whatever. There always someone's making the call in the forward pack, and not everybody's buying into it. So you're seeing players arguing with each other. You're seeing players not look happy with the decision that's been made. But yeah, just disappointing. You know, I said in my instant match reaction that none of the players would have walked off that pitch tired. And what I meant by that was because I don't think the players have got a clear understanding of what they're supposed to be doing at any one given time. They can't go out and give it 100%. They can't go out and empty the tank, because they're always second guessing. They're always like stood on their heels thinking, what's the guy next to me going to be doing next? So yeah, it was just it was a frustrating game. It was a bit of a continuation of the Black Lion game, really. So there wasn't much positive to take out of it, to be honest. You know, and this is me trying to be consistent, because I've said all season I'm looking at performances, not results. And that performance, again, as Mart said, you can't just come on here and talk about the same issues week after week after week after week, because it's unfortunately the same issues that we've had every pod that we've done so far this season. We're all still there and not fixed.
So for me, I almost disagree with that, because
Okay.
the bit that I saw in that game is we actually started making chances again. We started creating opportunities, and that's what we haven't been creating opportunities for a long time this season. So I watched the game on replay 3 or 4 times. First half, I counted 4 clear try scoring opportunities in the first half. Yeah, we got held up over the line where we had a 2-man overlap outside. We turned the ball over where we were trying to force a pass, where if the ball had come back and out, we were running a 3-1. You know, it bits like that. There's a Tom Rogers one in the second half. We cocked up 2 tries in the second half. That's 6 tries. You know, 6 potential tries. We only needed to convert 2 of them, and we were well ahead. Yeah. The scrum in the first half, I've been very critical of the scrum so far this year. Inconsistencies in the scrum. I thought the scrum in the first half was absolutely superb. You know, it shunted them into a reverse gear and kept them there for the whole of the first half. And this whole thing about, you know, they're a forwards orientated side. Well, what were we then? You know, for that first half, if that's how we play and we're a particularly poor forward side, what do you make of that? Because we were outstanding in the
Well,
forwards.
since Fafita's come back, our line out is pretty much untouchable, which is weird. So I guess that's one thing that has improved, although it is very much there for Fafita doing the vast majority of it. But maybe to your point then, Lee, maybe it's the amount of chances that we've blown. It talks about just how we're really down on confidence at the moment.
Yeah, and that was going to be my point, that if we'd have been playing like that consistently through the season, you develop the mindset that actually I can run a tight shoulder line, because chances are there's going to be a ball being flicked up and I might catch 1 in 3. But if I catch 1 in 3, I'll run that line 4 times and I'm going to score a try out of one of them. You know, so it's a different mindset that comes from being in a positive game, and a lot of what you've spoken about on social media, Hugh, about consistency of selection, where you kind of know where that player inside of you is looking to offload, or if your outside half is going for a crossfield kick, it becomes a bit more instinctive, and that builds your confidence, and your confidence builds a better play, and all of this kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't think it was as bad as people said on Boxing Day, simply because, even with 5 minutes to go, yeah, we were 7 points behind, and we were in the game. Yeah, that last play of the game, we're running it out from our own 22. If that ball goes to hand, we've got a 3-on-1 outside. Yeah. Now, I don't care where you're running a 3-on-1 from on the pitch. You can run a 3-on-1 from your own goal line. Yeah. They had very little cover coming across, possibly a fullback. Yeah. And I think it was a second row that was coming across. Yeah. But we had, the likes of Fafita and whatever, or whoever it was coming across. So, that ball goes to hand, that game's drawn. So, and then you're talking about a very different kind of mindset then going into the Dragons game.
I had to say though, I watching that play back though, Johnny Williams I felt was very indecisive about what he was going to do, because he was in the boot, and this is the kind of thing that we've seen with Johnny Williams this season. Is I feel like he's not sure whether he's the crash ball or he's a distributor, because we saw it against Cardiff. He had a great game as a distributor, which we didn't think was a part of his game, but he played really well. And now he's finding himself in the boot behind the row of the three forwards, but he's not sure whether he's taking it into contact or he's passing. And I think part of the reason that last play went wrong is because there was that hesitation of he wasn't. He kind of got into his head like, oh, I've got the ball and I've been running with it for a second now. I need to do something, and he just chucked it, and it wasn't. It was obviously a poorly executed pass. So, yeah, but I think again, just lacking a bit of structure in that play.
Yeah, but that's the sort of stuff that comes with repetition, playing the same game consistently week on week. And I think that's the bit that we're missing, is that consistency will build the confidence. For all the stuff about Peel must go and all of this kind of stuff. And if you think that's a good game, you need your head right. Well, actually, no, go back and watch the game. Go back and watch the game. Turn the best thing you can do to watch a game in Wales at the minute is turn the sound off. Yeah, and actually watch the game, not listen to what the Cardiff and the Ospreys commentators are telling you what you should be interpreting on the game. Yeah, watch the game and make your mind up for yourself, and then every now and then you get the remote, pause and rewind, yeah, and then look at the wider picture. What's happening, what's trying to happen, and we need to get better at a game plan, definitely, because the game plan against the Ospreys was working in the first half. There were just a couple of key bits in there that were poorly executed, and we couldn't defend for toffee around a driving lineup. Yeah, that's the only bit that we were really, really poor at in that game, is defending a driving line out, and the Ospreys were really good at it, where we didn't have a clue. So for me, that Boxing Day game wasn't as bad as everybody else said. I think the disappointing game for me was a New Year's Day game, where that game was there for the taking, and we didn't. And that I'm not talking about Sam Costello now. Yeah, I'm talking about there were other opportunities in that game that should have been taken before we got to that. But I just think that comes again from confidence, playing together, and being in a position where you could throw an offload and somebody will catch it. Yeah, that's where we used to be. That's where we were playing well, where you didn't need to wait for a call to throw an offload off the ball inside. Yeah, you knew if you were being tackled and your arm was loose, you could flick that ball inside, and one of our players would be there to catch it. Yeah, and we scored tons of tries. We broke the line constantly from doing that. We're not doing that at the minute because the confidence isn't there. So, yeah, it's frustrating being a fan at the minute, and I totally get that. But we've also got to look at it and go, actually, we'll support the good bits. Let's go out there and support the good bits. And for me, there were good bits through the festive period. I just want to see, like you were saying, Matt, more than 5 minutes a game. Let's start stringing this together. Let's start going. Let's build on this, because I didn't see a build on in the New Year's Day game from Boxing Day. I think Boxing Day was probably the best that we've played. The first half certainly was the best we've played so far this season, in terms of we defended well, we created opportunities. All right, we didn't get the final execution right, but we were doing the first. If we were running a marathon, we were running the first 26 miles really well. Yeah, we just needed to finish it, and then none of that appeared on New Year's Day. And I take my hats off to the Dragons on that one. They'd obviously had a bit of a beating the week before. Yeah, they did, and they came at it with some real fire, and we didn't have an answer. And
I think we were the better team against the Dragons.
Second half we were, yeah. But this comes back to we didn't want it enough. Yeah, we didn't. We're missing people like Ken Owens, yeah, and Tadburn and Rob Evans to a certain extent, yeah, who with 5 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go in that Dragons game, when they went back in front, yeah, they would have got everybody to right. We are not losing this game. I don't care what we do. Come hell fire, we take that ball. They do not touch that ball for the next 5 minutes. Everybody here pulls their finger out of their arse, and we give everything we got for the next 5 minutes. We are not losing this game. Yeah. And I remember doing it myself. I was 16, 17, between 16 and 17, playing for the first.
Just after the Second War, right?
Just after the Second World War, yeah. So, but I was playing for the first in a local rugby, and it was kind of a local derby, but not our closest ones. And somebody was going like, "Oh, they're going to come back. They always come back and beat us in the last 5 minutes." And I went absolutely fucking loopy. Oh, no, absolutely not. It was like our line out on our own line. We're right, no. We take it in. We drive it forward. We take a ruck. We go forward. We get to the edge of the 22, and then we clear the ball. That's what we're doing. And people were looking at me like I was like some crazy maniac. Yeah, but you need people like that. Yeah, well, I get used to it. I'll be honest. But you need people. You need somebody to go, no, right? Fuck this. This is what we do. And almost what you were saying earlier, Hugh. Who's making the decisions? Who's making the calls? Who's saying, right, okay, we turn the screw now. They don't touch the ball for the next 5 minutes. We go ruck, 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 ruck. We put the ball in their 22. And when that ball is in their 22, we drive everything back. We don't give a single penalty, and we force them to. Do you know what I mean? There isn't anybody on that pitch with that fire in that belly to go, this is what we do. And I think that's the bit we're missing, whether it's Lousy or whether it's McLeod or whoever it is. Somebody's got to get hold of them and go, this is how it is. I'm the governor now. I'm in charge. When we're on this pitch, this is how it works. And I think if we had that, both of those games would have been won. So,
yeah. Can I just talk about Costello?
Feel free. This is a safe space. Carry on.
No.
People hammering Costello for his missed kick. What are you doing? We know Sam Costello is a good goal kicker. He's missed a bad one. Fair enough. All kickers miss bad ones. But what are you going to do?
First game back. 2 months no rugby.
Yeah. What do you want? You want him dropped for that? Like, so Costello had a transformative effect on us when he came back in that game. The organisation and the structure of our back line, with him pulling the strings and telling people where to stand and saying to Gareth Davis, no, I don't want the ball. You go through more phases with the forwards, and I'll organise what we're going to do next. That is the fly half in him, the natural general, the game organiser. And Costello made both of our tries with his passing. Like in the second one, he just hesitates. He just checks the defender, and the defender goes, oh, and then he puts Lloyd over. Sam Costello is an excellent international class fly half, and I believe that we're going to see the best of him in the Six Nations coming up. And yeah, the thing that makes me a little bit worried is that one player coming back who's not played any game time has had that much of an effect, whereas Johan Lloyd, who has been in this role for the season so far, hasn't managed to add that to his game. And I think that maybe comes back to the fact that we don't have a fly half on the coaching team and we don't have an experienced fly half in the squad from him to learn from. So again, and it's again a player who's had almost no rugby has come in and has instantly made us better. So that again goes back to the point of the players who have had the most time in the team in camp are the ones who are performing lower, which again is a bit worrying. But yeah, in terms of just talking about Sam himself, I thought he was excellent all game against the Dragons, and I do believe that we were the better team against the Dragons. And again, I'm looking at performances, not results, and that performance was, in my opinion, a step forward compared to the weeks that preceded it. So now we haven't seen the team at the time of recording for Claremont. Let's keep the consistency in the team so that going from the Boxing Day team to the New Year's team, that was the first time in 7 weeks that we'd fielded an unchanged centre partnership. So we just need to keep sticking with that for me, and that's what I want to see.
So the bit I want to point out with this now, right, is Hugh said something and I've said something, and that's twice now we've said, no, I don't think you're right. But then we're sitting there and we're not slagging each other off, and we're not going, you're a complete fucking donkey because you think this and that. And I'm seeing that from Scarlets fans or people claiming to be Scarlets fans. Yeah. And I don't think that's the way we move forward as a group of fans on that.
I mean, back to Hugh's point about consistency. Yeah, we've all argued for consistency all season, but we're in a really tricky spot at the minute. I mean, Europe is essentially gone because we're not, as much as I'm going to say we're going to beat Clermont, we're not going to beat Clermont, and that means that qualifying for Europe is gone. So we've got 2 European games, then our boys are gone for the Six Nations. So, you know, I'm wanting to see the boys that are going to be playing the 3 games for the Six Nations playing now. That's what I want to see. I forget what happened on Boxing Day and New Year's Day. Like, obviously, you know, few of the better players, your Sam Costellos, your Gareth Davis, who are more than likely going to be involved with Wales, they need to be in that team. But I want to see a core 15, 23 of boys who are going to be here for our 3 games, Munster, I think Edinburgh and Benetton, during the Six Nations, the 2 full weeks and the week after. That I want to see us build that team over these next 2 weeks. I'm not bothered about what's come beforehand.
Cool. Well, let's move on then to what comes next, which is the European game. Claremont away. So what I will say on this is, from what I've seen on social media, the people who were planning to go and watch this game are not going for the rugby. There's an awful lot of wine about to be drunk. There's a hell of a lot of French lager about to be drunk. And if people get to see the game, I think that's a bonus from what I've seen.
Depends if they've bought their tickets already.
I think they'll probably be in the ground physically. I think they'd probably be part.
They'll be in the bar.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people just going for the experience, you know, and you know, full respect to them. Let's make some noise. Let's make a bit of a song and dance about it, and let's enjoy it. Because what's the point of going if you're not going to enjoy it, you know? So, what are you? Let's go with you first, then, Mark. What are you hoping for from the Claremont game?
Like I've just said, I'm hoping to see a team that's going to see us through the next 2-3 months where we're without our internationals. But we're not going to see that. We're going to see a strong team, strong as possible. So, you know, internationals, etc. It's what you expect. You know, it's just building game on game. You know, we want to see a game plan. That's the main thing. We don't want this indecisiveness. I mean, with Josh McLeod back, I'm hoping, like what he was saying, that who's the decision makers, etc., etc. I'm hoping that gets cut dead now, because we have got a leader who's been a leader for several years, not, you know, captain previously, but he is proper club captain now. So this is his time to really take these boys by the scruff of the neck and say, you know, we band together. This is what we do. And it's literally, I'm not expecting a win. I'm going to predict a win because that's what I do. You know, I love it. But no, I'd like to see a solid performance. You know, we need the performance to go on. And I mean, Edinburgh the week after, yeah, I'm happy to target that game. But, you know, I'm honest, it's going to be a step too far at this point. I mean, if we do it, you won't see me. I'll be stark naked running around the streets. You know, it'll be awesome.
Well, you heard it here first. So if Scarlets manage to sneak a win out in Claremont, and you're wondering who that is streaking down the main street
And
of
if nobody looks, they won't raise the taxes.
yeah. So Hugh, what are you hoping for from the Claremont game?
Continued progress. I'm hoping for. I'm saying the same thing every week. So everything that I've said in every previous pod, I completely see what Martyn's saying, and I absolutely see a logic to it. But on the other hand, the one thing that I've wanted to see all season so far is a consistent team working on their cohesion, and it's not what we've seen for one reason or another so far. So I would like us to at least make a start on that and kind of treat this as our last block. Well, it is obviously our last block before we go into the Six Nations, and be able to say to ourselves after the game, yes, we are starting to slowly move in the right direction now, is what I'd like us to be able to say after this game. I think the way that selection has gone, it really tells me that we are really desperate for a result, in that we appear to be rushing players back. Like we saw they tried to bring Costello back for Boxing Day when he wasn't ready, and question about whether Lousy was really ready when he came back as well. So you can tell that the pressure is kind of getting to the coaches a bit in terms of getting these players back. But I understand, because they're getting absolute pelters, and what fans care about results. That's what fans are. If we'd have won those last two games, we'd be completely. We've had three very winnable games: Black Lion, Ospreys, and Dragons. And if we had won all of those, no one would be saying half the stuff that they're saying now. Even if the performances had been poor, the result is what people take notice of. So in terms of what I'm hoping to see, just exactly what I've said every pod so far this season, is a cohesive team moving in the right direction.
Okay,
cool.
On the injury front, not a world beater by any means, but we all love him, not the Scarlets. Dinky's back in training, so we might be fit for this game.
Okay. But Dinky is the game controller that we.
He's the kick in 10.
Yeah, and that's what we've said previously. As flat as he makes the game, he also puts the game in the right place and allows other players to play off him. So, it'd be interesting to see if he does come back, because we're at that time of year where we're going, okay, contracts time. And, through December and January is when the bulk of contracts are renegotiated and people stay and people go. And, I would struggle to justify keeping Dinky here if he's not going to be fit and performing, just because he doesn't have that star.
Especially having Costello or Lloyd, and we know he's only young, like we've already said earlier, but Titcombe has put in, we think he's got capabilities of being more than Welsh Premiership. So it's going to be hard decisions.
Yeah, really, really hard decisions. Okay, so for me, what I'm looking for in the Claremont game is defence. I want to see us start defending, particularly around driving walls, driving rucks. I want to see our forwards front up and actually start to disrupt. I want to see us start turning these over. I think we've started to turn the corner on scrums. We've definitely turned the corner on lineouts. We need to start turning the corner on defence and start turning the ball over, and then we can start going into a bit more positivity. I just want to see somebody take hold of the forwards and go, right, okay, this is what we're going to do. And people have been talking about people trying to get messages onto the pitch and people ignoring him on the pitch. Do you know what? I'm fine with that if the people on the pitch are doing it with we're doing this and we're doing this and we're doing this.
Exactly. That's the point that I made in the last pod that we did before Christmas is if you disagree with the coach, you best have a better idea.
Yeah.
And it is your responsibility as a player to say
we're going to do it this way and we're going to make it count.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely where we need to. A coach should not be sitting in the stand going, he needs to be doing this and he needs to be doing that and he needs to be doing this. Why aren't we doing? The coach should be sitting there and going, right, okay, I'm going to take notes from the first half and then we're going to have a chat about it at half time and then we're going to play for 20 minutes and at 20 minutes I want to make some changes. Do you know what I mean? If you're in that position where you need to control, micromanage everybody on that pitch, then you're doing it wrong. And either the players on the pitch are doing it wrong or you're doing it wrong as a coach. Either way, both of you need to change. So, for me, I just
that micromanaging, that comes pre-season, that comes before the game time. You don't do that in mid-season.
No, or you don't do it during the game. You've got 6 days usually in between each game. Some weeks you've got more. So, you've got plenty enough time to go through the video analysis, to do the preparation, to talk through players, to run it through on the training pitch. You go, right, okay, what happens here? Who goes where? What about this? Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things that really frustrates me where we try to overcoach what's happening on the pitch. And I know it's easy to say when you're not coaching now, but you have to sit back and have the confidence that you've done the work off the pitch. You've done the work. So when they cross the line and you just go, right, this is you now, guys. This is for the next 80 minutes. This is you. Yeah. And when I was coaching, the best times that my players were playing was where we had a meeting as coaches, and I lost my voice for one game, so I couldn't say anything. Yeah. And I just sat there and I listened to what everyone was shouting. I went, right, okay, no wonder our kids, they're under 14s, under 15s. Do you know what I mean? No wonder they're getting confused. Let's have one person giving one message, and that person gives a message once every 5 minutes, or they only give a message at a breakdown or a scrum or a line out. Yeah, not when players going. And do you know what? Players just started playing the game. And they started understanding the game and they started learning. And for the first couple of weeks, they were standing there and looking at you and going, what do I do now? You can play the game, And I know it's under 14s, under 15s against men's, but the principle is still the same. They walk over the whitewash, play the game, boys. So that's what I'm looking for. Somebody to take control and say, do you know what? This is what we're doing. And I want to see Dwayne Peel smile. I want the players on the pitch genuinely, because I feel for him as a coach, but all of that shit is being thrown at him, and there's nobody there. None of the players are there going, do you know what? I need to stand up and take responsibility for this. And do you know what I mean? Part of that is down to the club not letting players talk to the media, but players need to man up and go, okay, we got that wrong there, and coach is telling us something, we're not turning that into what we need to on the pitch. We're going into for the next game. So that's what I want to see. So let's quickly go around and do some predictions for Scarlets versus Claremont, or Claremont versus Scarlets. So I'm going to go with Scarlets win by 1 point, which anybody that's watched or listened to any of our podcasts so far will know that's as close as I come to predicting a Scarlets loss. Hugh, what's your thoughts?
I'm going to go Claremont to take us too lightly, and Lightning strikes the pitch, and we win 23-16.
Where does the lightning strike the pitch, though? Is it
metaphorical lightning?
Okay.
Or the saucepans.
Yeah. Mark,
it's not at our pitch, Mark. We'll have to bring our own saucepans.
On top of the post, buddy.
Yeah, it's in Claremont, mate.
It's in Claremont.
Oh, yeah, shit. Sorry.
Mart thought that every pitch, every rugby club has got saucepans on top
That's
of the
just the
posts.
way they
Sorry?
make posts. Got your prediction for...
Yeah, you get some paper and you just pour water over it. You make paper mache posts. That's what it is, isn't it? No, I'm going to go 25-22 Scarlets. Costello to score every single point.
Yes.
There we, and if nobody likes that, then tough. Yeah. Right. So to finish off tonight, then, so something that we're going to bring in over the next couple of weeks. So Hugh's going to take over doing listeners' questions from next week, and all of that kind of stuff. Martyn will be going into a lot of depth on the community game, and
Because who doesn't love community?
who doesn't love the community game? And we'll be doing hopefully a bit more on the women's game as well. We'll see how that goes. And then I'm going to bring in something called Griff's Grumble, which is like, it's kind of like a little bit of therapy for me, where we just get stuff off the chest, and not in a negative way, but I'm not going to slag anything, but I just need to get stuff off my chest and get it out there as a Griff's Grumble. So
yeah, we tried Martyn's Mourn, but we realised I'm not as angry as you.
Yeah, Martyn's just so positive, it didn't work.
You were too nice. But what I will say tonight, yeah, Martyn has stayed with us for the whole pod.
Thank you. I was going to bring
Hooray!
this up if you didn't mention it. I want a gold medal. I want my badge here right now.
Martyn lasted a whole hour or so without losing his signal.
We need one of those boards that weeks since Martyn's Wi-Fi failed.
Yeah.
Well, it was a 1 now. We're up to 1.
I was the first one in the room waiting to come in as well.
You were super keen, weren't you? Super keen. All right.
I had a signal, of course I was.
So I've got a quick couple of messages for listeners, so about how they can help us and stuff that we've got coming and things like that. So if you can, great. If you can't, don't worry, because we're doing okay as we are, but this is how we'd like to
we
grow.
Want to be better.
Yeah. So first of all, on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, yeah, please do subscribe. And the reason for this is very, very simple. Okay, we're not allowed to earn any money off YouTube until we get 500 subscribers. Okay, so when you watch us on YouTube, there'll quite often be adverts at the start and all of that kind of stuff. And the money from those adverts goes directly to YouTube, and they go, "Thank you very much, back pocket, lovely jubbly." Yeah. If we get to 500 subscribers, then some of that money, not a lot of it, a tiny fraction of it, in all honesty, comes our way.
Get 10 for the pence for every minute, innit?
It's one of those things that, you know, every penny kind of helps with our costs and all of these kind of things. So yeah, if you can, please subscribe. You don't have to put us on notification or anything like that. Just subscribe, so it just puts our numbers up. So the second thing, similar to that one.
I was going to say, if you like our work and you want to help us, drop us a DM if you want to make a handy donation. You know, if it's £1, we'll take it. You know, we're happy to take anything. I am, at least.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Just because you need a haircut.
Mark being the one who actually lives in Llanelli, he'll come round to your house and take your money.
Yeah, he'll come round.
You know why I'm growing this hair? Surely I've told you 100 times. It's for cancer kids. Be nice.
Yeah, you just want to look like Shabal, mate. So my second bit on that is, if you're listening to the podcast. So if you listen to our podcast, so there's a couple of adverts at the start, and then when we say goodbye, most of you switch off and go, "Thank you very much. Yeah, right, I'm done," and whatever. If you could listen to those last two adverts, then our advertising revenue goes up through. You can put it on mute. You can put it on mute. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But if you can listen, then that kind of helps us as well. And the reason I say about all of those costs and all that kind of stuff is because I do want to set up a website for, first of all, for Scarlets. Well, yeah, I mean, we could have the community game blog, we could have the women's game blog, we could have Hugh's blog about the numbers and all of this kind of stuff.
I wouldn't be stuck on Twitter with my little paragraphs. I could do full depth. I could
Yeah,
do
and
form, last meetings, everything.
then you could just link it in, but the whole lot of it just takes money and time to set up and all that kind of stuff. If somebody is doing a university project and they want to set up websites or build websites or anything like that for us for free, then yeah, please do get in touch.
If it is free, we're not expecting you to pay out.
No, we're not expecting them to pay out. No, but those are the little bits that where somebody's watching 2 adverts at the end of the pod. If 50, 60 odd people do that, then that's enough to pay for a month's stuff on a website. If 150, 200 people doing it, then that starts to pay for Zoom. If 500 people start doing it, well, I'm happy. I'll get a haircut. So yes, that is my message to people. We have got loads of stuff coming. Stuff that we want to do include messing around with videos, website, shop, all of these kind of things, all the stuff that you kind of go, oh, that might be a good idea. We're on it. It just takes time to do it. And if you want to help us, by all means, get in touch or just subscribe to YouTube or watch a video to the end, because either of those are great on that. So I wouldn't have grumble. I wouldn't have Griff's grumble. That was a Griff's.
That was a precursor.
Greatness. Yeah. So with that in mind, gents, I don't think any of us hold out any great hope of a victory against Claremont, but it would be nice to see. So we shall come back next week. We shall discuss the Claremont game. And in the meantime...
Did I just hear you said it'd be nice to see me running around naked? I'm pretty sure I just heard that.
Mate, I've already seen those videos on YouTube. Once in a lifetime is enough for those videos. So yeah, those guys chasing with a harpoon after you, they were surprised.
Oh, that's harsh. Oh,
honestly, when
Martyn signal's gone.
When the police come to me and go, "Have you seen this man?" and they show me a picture, I go, "No, but I have."
Right, gents, on that note, I shall bid you farewell and good night. We'll catch up again next week and do it all again. All the best, gents. Good night.
Thank you for listening to the Scarlets Fever podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, rate and review wherever you listen to us, as it really helps us spread the word. You can find us on all the usual social media channels or email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. And remember, whatever the question, rugby is always the answer.
Sports Social Podcast Network.